Welcome to this video presentation about the Charter School Estimate of State Aid template. In this slide deck and live demonstration, you'll receive information on the template as a resource to estimate foundation school program funding. The template is available to users on the Charter School Finance and State Funding web pages and is updated 4 times for the school year. Each version includes an update to attendance submitted and approved in the Foundation School Program Application System Charter School Program module. Additionally, each version will be based on a published Summary of Finances report. Version 1, published in July, includes prior year average daily attendance projections. The ADA projection attendance is based on the submission of District 6-week summary attendance reports. Version 2, published in September, is updated to include changes based on revised estimates if submitted by the charter school in the FSP application system by August 1st. Version 3, published in December, and version 4, published in March, will include the current year ADA projection attendance as of those months, and version 4s will also include the actual state compensatory education census block counts certified in the Texas Student Data System Public Education Information Management System. For reference, here's an example of the ADA projection from the FSP application system Charter School Program module. Updates to the average student counts are published monthly on the Charter School Summary of Finances report. In a moment, the viewer will be introduced to the Charter School Estimate of State Aid template. Before the live demo, here is a primer on the 5 worksheets of the template. The version worksheet provides general instructions, a description of updates, and specifics on some of the allotments of the Foundation School program. The Enrollment Estimates worksheet is to enter the charter school's county district number, which is necessary to load attendance into the workbook. Additionally, the Enrollment Estimates worksheet is an optional resource to enter revised estimates and reveal how those revisions would impact Foundation School Program state aid calculations. The FSP State Aid worksheet provides line-by-line information on data elements, funding components, funding weights, allotments, and entitlement amounts that make up the total Foundation School program. The user enters their local student data and other updates for forecasting their Foundation School program state aid. Finally, 2 optional resource worksheets are included. One is to calculate annualized attendance averages under the ADA projection calculation worksheet, and the other is to calculate a foundation monthly payment under the payment calculator worksheet. For the live demonstration, the focus will be on the version, enrollment estimates, and FSP state aid worksheets. Once a user opens the Charter School Estimate of State Aid template, the first worksheet is the version worksheet. Here, information is given on functionality and describes main changes to the workbook as compared to a previous version. As you scroll down the version worksheet, the user is given brief instructions for each worksheet of the workbook. In the funding components area, the funding rates used to calculate various portions of the Foundation School program will be notated. These funding components are established by the Texas Legislature in the General Appropriations Act and are set for the school year, meaning there will be no fluctuation within the school year for these set funding rates. And finally, under the allotment section, there is a brief description of some of the allotments that are part of the Foundation School program and may include hyperlinks to specific proposed or established rules associated with the allotment. Next, we will move on to the Enrollment Estimates worksheet. Before discussing the Enrollment Estimates worksheet, Here is a visual demonstration of the functionality and features of the workbook. First, the workbook is protected, meaning the user is only permitted to enter data in specific cells. When a user attempts to enter data in a protected cell, this message displays. Simply enter OK and continue. Second, data throughout the workbook is only permitted in yellow cells of the workbook. So these areas here are data entry cells. Third, there is a feature within the workbook in which the user may hover over cells with red triangles to reveal more information about the data element or line item. So here's an example. I'm hovering over a couple of the data elements in the enrollment estimates worksheet to reveal more information provided for that line item or data element. And finally, one additional feature is that there is a password to unprotect the worksheets of the workbook. And I will demonstrate that feature. You'll need to get to a menu bar, go to Review, and then go to the Unprotect icon and type in the word unlock in all lowercase and press OK. That now unprotects the workbook or the worksheet, and the user could begin making notes in various areas if they care to. So let's continue with the enrollment estimates worksheet. Which is a resource to model data entry of estimates for enrollment and percent rate of attendance. And then by using this worksheet, this will help the user to determine what the change would be to the foundation school program funding. So each July, before the school year starts, the charter school has the option to report estimates in the foundation school program application system charter school program module by August 1st. So this worksheet allows the users to enter those estimates, model them, and then review the changes in the next worksheet before making any other official submission in the FSP application system. The estimate data that the charter user enters may be retrieved from your local student data information system. Begin first by entering the county district number of your charter school. That should be a 6-digit county district number. I'll do that now for a sample. And then that will reveal a charter school name. So that way you can check to make sure that it's the correct charter school, which will load the correct attendance. And after that, you can begin to report your revised enrollment estimates. For purposes of this demonstration, I will maintain the percent rate of attendance estimate at 95%. So let me enter a couple of enrollment estimates within the workbook. Another feature of the workbook is it does include data validation. So for example, if I were to enter 500 here and try to enter that for gifted and talented enrollment, it says that the number of students enrolled in this program cannot be greater than the total number of students enrolled. So that makes sense because I've entered 460 for total enrollment, and so it doesn't make sense. So you can just retry or cancel. I'll cancel in this instance and continue entering my enrollment figures that I've been provided from my local office or through my data system, student data system. Let's do a couple of things for the speech therapy. And let's also do resource room. and then finish out with some mainstream for special education. So again, continuing on, I don't have any information I'm going to provide for career and technology. Beyond the enrollment section is an area that provides loaded estimates to the user for information only. So these are estimates that are on the charter school summary of finances, and they're only going to be updated when actual PEIMS is available. So it's important for you to know this, that these are not estimates that can be updated through the FSP application system. All right, continuing then on to the FSP state aid worksheet for information on this. Here on the FSP state aid worksheet, the charter school county district number, the charter school name, and attendance are loaded in the FSP state aid worksheet. Attendance in the approved estimate column is prior year ADA projection data published on the charter school summary of finances report in the summer. The summary of finance ID is also displayed to the user. Next is the attendance in the revised estimate column. And this is the result based on the data entered in the enrollment estimates worksheet. So the user should compare the revised estimate with the approved estimate to determine the change to the foundation school program. So simply look at this information to see the changes, to see if the results are what you expected. And you can see how the changes to the various allotments are changing in the overall impact between the approved estimate that's in place and the changes based on the data that was entered in the enrollment estimates worksheet. So if the charter decides to report the revised estimates, they would be published and they're approved. In other words, if they're submitted in the FSP application system by August 1st, then the charter school September summary of finances will reflect the revised attendance data. But again, there is no requirement of the charter school to submit revised estimates. Ultimately, the first payment to the charter school in September will be based upon the latest approved estimate data. Finally, with regard to both the approved estimate and revised estimate column, there is no data permitted in these columns. The legislative payment estimate, known by the acronym LPE, is updated throughout the school year based on the district summary 6 weeks attendance report submitted in the FSP application system charter school program. Payments made to the charter school during the year are based on the student count shown in the LPE column. Attendance in the budget earnings column is a duplicate of the attendance in the LPE column. The charter school may enter data into either of these columns to project state aid based on their best available information. Your charter school's budget should include the student counts and program participation that are expected to occur during the year. In the SOF line column, the charter user is provided the summary of finances line number, which corresponds to the data element of the FSP state aid worksheet. For example, refined average daily attendance is on line 1 of the main SOF report. So this column serves as a crosswalk between a published summary of finances and the FSP state aid worksheet. Next, let's go to the description of the Foundation School program, which begins with student counts. So student counts are going to include average daily attendance, full-time equivalents, and enrollment counts. And you'll see that there will be funding weights that are set in statute are going to be identified to the right of the various student counts. Next, below the student information is that area, again, with funding components. So this whole section here includes the funding components that are used to calculate the Foundation School program. And the district basic allotment is the main or one of the primary funding components used to calculate a series of allotments, including student-based allotments. Here, if you look, are some district tax rates. So these are important in calculating another section of the Foundation School program that includes Tier 2, which is an enrichment entitlement. And then below the funding components, we'll begin the calculations of the Foundation School program that starts with Tier 1 allotment. So many of these are the student-based allotments here. And then for the user, if you want to know how the allotment is being calculated, you would just simply click on the cell here and look to the formula bar. So this gives you the information of what is being used to calculate these various allotments. So here for the regular program allotment, it says D6 times D69 up here. And you would simply scroll up D69. Here's 69D. So that's the district basic allotment. If I scroll back up, here's 6 here times the regular program ADA. So again, any of the allotments that are being calculated throughout here, the user can look to see how those calculations are being made by looking at the formula bar. So here is the total cost of Tier 1, and that's just simply the sum of all the allotments above that make up the Tier 1. And it gives you the sum. And again, here's the formula bar with all the various allotments that are included. Tier 2, as I mentioned, this is going to be calculated using those statewide average district tax rates that are in the funding component section. And while a charter school has no authority to levy tax rates, the charter school is still entitled to Tier 2 funding based on those statewide average tax rates of independent school districts. Then finally, you will see a section for other programs, and the detail is here for any of the other programs that are part of the Foundation School program. And to get more information about these allotments, and you can hover over the information here through that feature, or simply go to the version tab to get more information about these allotments. So the sum of the total Foundation School program is the sum of Tier 1, Tier 2, and other programs. So you can see how this is a complete worksheet for the user to input their local data in the open entry cells using your student information data system and other sources to refine the charter school's estimate of Foundation School program state aid funding calculations. Thank you for viewing this presentation. For additional information on the Foundation School program funding and charter school state funding, please refer to Chapter 48 and Chapter 12.106 of the Texas Education Code. Also, please refer to the Student Attendance Accounting Handbook, which contains the official attendance accounting requirements that all public school districts and open enrollment charter schools in Texas must meet. The agency collects student attendance data primarily to ensure that the foundation school program funds can be correctly allocated to the Texas public school districts. For assistance or questions on the charter school estimate of state aid template, please email us at charterschoolfinance@tea.texas.gov, and our team is ready to assist you. This concludes the presentation. Thank you.